Scanning is probably the most useful technique in solving the majority of Sudokus. Let's take a look at this example and focus on big row 1. Big row 1 is made up of 3 rows. Row 1, row 2, and row 3. Row 1 and row 2 already have a 7. So we can conclude that row 3 also must have a 7 because all rows must contain all numbers from 1 to 9. So the 7 must be in row 3. But where in row 3? Well, it can't go in these 3 cells because these 3 cells belong to box 1 and there's already a 7 in box 1. And it also can't go in these 3 cells which are part of box 3 because there's already a 7 in box 3. So we can easily conclude that the third 7 must go in any of these 3 cells which are part of box 2. So scanning has enabled us to narrow down the choices to any one of these 3 cells, and that's exactly what scanning is. Now here's another example. We already have 2 5s in big row 2. So using the same logic as before, the third 5 must go in these 3 cells. Here's another example. Again, using scanning, the third 9 must go in these 3 cells. In all the examples we just saw, we were scanning only the rows, but scanning can also be used for columns. So let's look at scanning in columns. Now here in big column 1, we already have 2 8s over here and here. So where do you think the third 8 goes? Well, it can't go in column 1 since there's already an 8 in column 1. And it can't go in column 2 since there's already an 8 in column 2. So it must go in column 3. But where in column 3? Well, it can't go in box 1 since there's already an 8 in it. And it also can't go in box 7 since there's already an 8 in box 7. So that narrows down the possibilities to these 3 cells in box 4. So the third 8 must go in one of these 3 cells. Now let's see what happens when we add some more givens to our puzzle. Let's say this 2 and 6 are additional givens in this puzzle. Using scanning, we already know that an 8 must go in any of these 3 cells. But 2 of these 3 cells are already taken. So there's only one place where the third 8 can go. So the 8 must go here in cell 43. So scanning not only narrows down the choices, but in easy puzzles, you may even end up solving cells like we just did over here. Now let's see scanning in action on a real puzzle. So here's an easy Sudoku puzzle. So the first thing we'll do is look for a number that appears twice in a big row or a big column. So there's one right here. Here we have a 5 in row 1, and we have a second 5 in row 2. So based on scanning, the third 5 must go in row 3 in these 3 cells. Now the 5 can't go here because there's already a 2 in this cell. And it can't go in this middle cell since column 5 already has a 5. So the 5 can only go here in cell 36. Now here's another one, this time in big row 2. Once again, we have 2 5s. There's a 5 in row 4 and another 5 in row 5. So the third 5 must go in row 6 in one of these 3 cells. It can't go here and here because these cells are already taken. So the third 5 must go here in cell 61. Now let's look at big column 2. Once again, we have 2 5s. We have a 5 in column 5 over here and another one in column 6 over here. So based on scanning, the third 5 must go in column 4 in any one of these 3 cells. It can't go here since there's already a 9 here, and it can't go here since row 8 already has a 5 over here. So the 5 must go here in cell 74. Let's do a few more. In big row 1, there's a 3 here and another 3 here, and so a 3 must go in cell 35. And here's another one. In big row 2, there's a 3 here and another 3 here, so the third 3 can only go in one of these 3 cells. It can't go here since there's already a number in here. It can't go here since there's already a 3 in column 5, so the 3 must go here. And here's another one. Now in big column 2, since we have these 2 3's, the third 3 must go here in cell 84. So, as you just saw, we solved a lot of the puzzle using just scanning. So scanning is an excellent technique that will help you in the majority of puzzles. It not only solves cells but also helps you in narrowing down your choices. So make scanning an important part of your toolkit, and it'll definitely give you an edge in your quest to solve Sudokus. So go give it a shot.